stir and gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away and he puts it away.
Hey there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
Derek, do you know what we do not have in common with Ted Lasso?
What's that, Jake?
We made it beyond 3 seasons.
Oh, we're going to make it like 30, 40, 50 seasons. As long as your heart holds out, that is. Query and Schultz every Tuesday night. You can watch it right here on the ISC Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X, podcast, whatever it is. Just call it whatever you want.
Twitter doesn't exist.
Just make sure Tuesday nights, Query and Schultz, 7:30, all season long right here on the ISC Sports Network.
We outlasted Twitter.
We did.
Oh, there we go, baby. Oh, my God. Race to the other end, and he punches it down. Back in. Takes it in. Little energy. Little. Not the entire game. Touchdown. He's got it. He's up. Still going. Throws it up, and Hooks will throw it down.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Taking a look at some of the first half highlights. Some big shooting from deep that time to get things going here from Anthony Nelson. But still, New Haven, they've been able to knock down a few shots, but that has still been a rarity, trying to get some shots to knock down right there. But still, Mishawaka been able to move in transition as well to get out to this lead.
Yeah, isn't it interesting how you look at that, those replays, and how patience has been a factor for Mishawaka? Clearly the difference, a little patience, good shot selection, got some freebies in transition, bingo, 12, 14-point lead. Not a lot of difference, but just a few things equals 10 to 14 points.
Just enough as you see the likeness of Jimmy Rail right there on the wall here inside of the Memorial Gym.
Can we have a moment of silence?
Oh.
I feel good now. There's my guy.
There you go.
Listen, that guy, you talk about pure shooters. You think about like maybe 10 guys, Rick Mount, Jimmy Rail, Steve Alfer, there's a bunch of them, but man, I remember everybody back in the day talked about that guy there. They just did. And don't forget, he didn't have the three-pointer.
Yes,
if
and neither did Rick Mount.
They'd had to build a bigger statue.
He would certainly have a lot more points as one of the all-time leading scorers here in the sport of high school basketball here in the state of Indiana. Well, Jan, obviously we have to talk about some of the other matchups that we'll be certainly seeing later on, of course, tomorrow and later on this evening as well. So Plainfield and Warren Central will be playing each other in the nightcap game after both of those teams lost to their respective opponents earlier today. Plainfield having a really good season this year, but they ran into a very tough Mount Vernon team, and then Warren Central comes up short to Jeffersonville, so that game will be coming up later on tonight. But then tomorrow you'll have Kokomo and South Bend Riley in one of the semifinals, and then Mount Vernon and Jeffersonville in the other. The winners of those games will go on to the championship round, and then the losers will go on to the rest of the consolation ladder. But still, lots of good teams to be playing here in this really good tournament.
Yeah, this has really been a good, as it always is, but I love the lineups here. They've really got some really good teams in here, and tomorrow will be phenomenal. So if you can get here, I would get here. If not, you know where to watch and listen.
You can catch all those games right here on the ISC Sports Network. So we're going into the final minute here of halftime as we get set for this second half. Again, it is a 34-18 advantage here for Mishawaka as the Cavemen look to try and gather their 6th win of the season. And taking a look at Mishawaka's schedule here, Jan, they have not had a lot of time to actually play at home. In fact, they started the season with 4 straight road games and then had 2 home games against Concord and New Prairie, and now they're down here in Kokomo playing at a neutral site facility. Meanwhile, for New Haven on the other side, they are about to, in fact, they are just now starting a stretch of 6 straight road games. So certainly some tough scheduling here for both of these teams in this season.
Well, it is, and you may have some losses involved in those, but listen, you talked about Mishawaka, 5 out of their first 7 games on the road. Listen, that just makes you tougher. You figure it out. Tough to play on the road, tough to play back-to-backs, but you find out in a hurry what you're made out of, both as a team and as a coach. What do you got?
Mishawaka certainly finding who they are made out of as they hold this big lead, and they start the second half with the basketball, and they will keep it on this possession right here. You know, you see a big effort there from Anthony Nelson. He only has 3 points tonight, but he has really done a lot in moving the ball around and setting things up here for this Cavemen squad. There's the aforementioned Nelson. He hits Fisher. And here is Johnson. He is one of the leading scorers here for Mishawaka, who were led by Brady Fisher, who has 9 points. All those coming in that first half. Johnson from the elbow. Can't get the Memorial Gym roll, but on the follow-up that time is Nelson.
Yeah, and that they're starting to pull away because of the multiple things, but the offensive rebounds may be the difference maker right now. And the putback. Offensive rebound is one thing, but they're putting them back, and quite honestly, New Haven has not been able to do that, at least so far, to see if they can make a little dent in that stat.
So the lead grows even larger here for Mishawaka. Tipped up and a turnover there by New Haven. Snyder getting the start here in this second half. Leaves it for Johnson in the corner with that sideways motion there from Nelson, and he's just off the mark.
I like the shot. Dribble drive, nothing there, kicked it out. He just didn't hit the shot.
Back-to-back turnovers by the Bulldogs. Johnson
There's a free
puts
one.
it up and gets the foul.
Another free one.
So the and one coming here for Rashawn Johnson.
That's just smart basketball, and it all starts with rebounding. You can't do that if you don't get a good rebound and a clean outlet pass, and you got people flying coming right at you from the top camera. You always talk about it. If you can get 3 or 4 what I call free ones or easy transition, whatever you want to call it, you can get yourself 4, 5, 6 points very quickly or easily, whichever the case may be.
So Johnson gets the old-fashioned three-point play, and he now has 10. Working inside this time is DeMarcus Wright, and yet another turnover for New Haven. Just not taking care of the basketball here of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, a little quick. You always got to give the defense some, because of the pressure they're providing is causing some of that, but just a little quick on their passes.
So New Haven facing a deficit quite like what they saw against Kokomo earlier this morning.
You know, the other thing Mishawaka's not doing, they're not forcing a lot. Most of their looks are relatively clean. There you go.
Like that one
Like
from
that
Brady
one right
Fisher.
there. Yeah, Brady Fisher. Well, we expect a lot out of him, and he's not disappointed. There is still quick hands by Brady Fisher.
Running hard in the lane that time was Jaquan Guy. And outside, a 3 on the way is short there from Stewart. But an offensive rebound there from Guy again. So Jaquan Guy didn't see hardly any minutes in that first half, getting some early on here in this third quarter. Euro step inside by Graham off the side of the backboard, trying to thread the needle inside to Fisher with the Cavemen. Somehow Johnson comes away with it, and he almost knocks down an uncontested 3. And how about that follow-up effort from Nelson?
Yeah, Nelson just swung around, quick move to get inside position. And now the offensive rebounds are really starting to mount up. Here's a great look. See how he's got inside position? That's the defensive spot. He's got to get around there quicker. As a good rebounder, you got to anticipate. Once you see shot up, and a lot of it's communication. When you see shot go up, you should hear 5 voices, shot, 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 to help in case you're closely guarding somebody. It's communication, it's anticipation.
And Nelson goes 1 of 2 at the line right there. You know what his shot looks like there, Jan? It looks like Jordan Hulls from IU back in the day, with that side of the head motion.
Well, if I could shoot like Jordan Hall, I'd take that as a huge compliment because he can flat out shoot.
He certainly could.
Oh, there's a good move. There you go.
And the and one as well here for Jordan Cottrell.
Jordan Cottrell found that baseline, and this time one of the A few times Mishawaka did not get over defensively. What you want to do there is get 1 foot out of bounds as a defender, and that doesn't allow the offense to go anywhere, but recognized by Cottrell and got the bucket. Didn't hit the free throw, though.
That is the first missed foul shot for New Haven today. Johnson along the baseline.
They like that play right there, don't they? They get a man set up over the three, they drive and go baseline.
Splitting the defenders that time is Pritchett. A little too strong on that take. So New Haven only 1 bucket here in this quarter. Already halfway through. Stewart along the baseline, gets another and one.
There you go. He's taken to the hoop here now a couple times by Stewart.
And that is his first bucket of the day.
One of the seniors. Just go up, play hard. Little English on that one. Look at that ball spin. Got it to go in.
And Stewart again unable to convert here for the Bulldogs on the end one. Foul in transition quickly that time as Johnson was moving up court, and it will be Stewart picking it up.
I like the fact that Mishawaka continues to push. When you push, you force the defense to react quicker. They can't just kind of lollygag and just methodically get in a defensive stand. You force them to get down the court. You force them to get in defensive stands fast. I like that when teams do that.
Nelson.
We got bowling pins rolling everywhere here.
And it's going to be a foul away from the ball, it looks like. It'll be taken out on the floor this time. And it's going to be against James Hardy, so that'll be his second.
I don't have to tell you how good Lawrence North is, but one of the parts of their repertoire is their ability to transition. They literally take 3 dribbles and they have a bucket. They do it as good as anybody in the state. Had them a couple times. Obviously a very talented ball club, but the point of that transition, getting it quick, they're as good as anybody.
Meanwhile, the Bulldogs have just not been taking good care of the basketball so far by my unofficial count. 6 turnovers in the last 6 minutes. Largest lead of the ball game now here for Mishawaka at 20 points.
Game's flying by.
Indeed it is. Here's Fisher back up top now. Nelson having a heck of a second half, leaves it for Johnson. Nelson
pass.
tries to throw it inside that time for Fisher. It goes out of bounds off of the knee of Devin White. It'll stay here with the Cavemen.
A little bit of force that one. They haven't forced very many. That one's a little bit force, wasn't there. But for the most part, they've been very patient and make really good, solid passes.
Nelson again. Here's Pritchett, goes hard to the lane.
Oh my.
Can't finish that time, out of bounds, and they'll say it goes back to New Haven.
Well, he got up high. Just wasn't enough by number 12, that's Pritchard.
Again, Pritchett averaging about 8.5 a contest. He has 6 so far tonight. This is Chubby Mikado. Now Cottrell inside, and he draws the foul. He'll go to the line.
Well, stay with us after this one. You've talked about it, 15 minutes or so in between games, but I think this Plainfield and Warren Central game is going to be really, really good. Both of them lost tough ones today. Nobody in those schools likes to lose. I think that's going to be a good one. So stay with us right after this one because I think that one's going to be really good.
You can read about both of those teams as well in the Hoosier Basketball Magazine. The new issue is being printed, so you can order now by calling or texting at 317-925-8200. Many of the state's outstanding seniors are pictured on the front cover. Be sure to get your copy of the Hoosier Basketball Magazine.
Under 3 now, Kurt.
as Cottrell goes 1 of 2 that trip.
Good pass. Chris Hard, really good pass.
Somehow, though, Fisher comes away with it, leaves it back outside for Thomas.
He travels.
And just one too many steps taken that time by Thomas. But still, how about that nifty ball movement there by Mishawaka as bodies were flying all over the place? Of course, as Jan mentioned, Plainfield and Warren Central coming up after this right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Both of them were right in position to win, just didn't quite go their way. So you know they don't want to end their day on a loss.
Thomas nearly travels again right there as he pumps the brakes. Fisher inside to Johnson. Triple team, spin around jumper doesn't go, but Hard trying to get the rebound that time was
Great
Nelson.
Hustle. Great hustle. Love the effort.
New Haven comes away with it though. Guy into the corner. White,
Good shot.
baseline jumper.
Yep, good shot.
And a timeout here taken by New Haven. A 30-second timeout. We'll step aside with them. Big lead here for Mishawaka here at the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament on ISC. Minute 56 left to go here in quarter number 3 between New Haven and Mishawaka on the ISC Sports Network. Continued coverage of the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament.
I like the fact, Kurt, that both teams playing hard. You know, you can just kind of go, I'll go through the motions, not much here. But no, both teams are still this way early in the ball club. And I like the fact that both teams are playing really, really hard.
He's Jan Bozier. I'm Kurt Darling. One more quarter after this here in this one as Mishawaka working on what could be their 6th win of the year after taking their 2nd loss of the season earlier today. Stepping out of bounds that time, it's actually going to be a foul, so it'll stay here with Mishawaka. Brady Fisher will take the ball out here. He has had an excellent game today, shooting 51% from the field overall this season. So far, the leading scorer here for the Cavemen.
Yeah, you talked about Mishawaka. They'll have a few days off for the holidays, get back at it at home against Plymouth, a conference game, so that'll be a big one. That's why you use these games. Listen, conference games are super important, and you want to protect home court, so you really want to come out of here with some win and momentum going into a conference game.
Lots of talented teams in the Northern Lakes Conference that Mishawaka plays in. As the shot goes off the mark that time from Baskerville and rebounded by Snyder. Mishawaka also will host their own sectional this year with the likes of South Bend Riley, who's also taking part in this tournament. In fact, they lost to South Bend Riley to get to this point here. Also Michigan City, LaPorte, South Bend Adams, and the aforementioned Plymouth. They're in sectional number 3 in Class 4A.
Good
Fisher
pass.
leaves it underneath for Johnson.
Fisher's a solid player. Been impressed by his decision-making. Doesn't force. Really looks to make that extra pass when he has to. Good, solid player.
And a foul here on Mishawaka as Troyer will pick up his 2nd.
Boy, you talked about New Haven. Wow, they are flat out on the road forever and ever and ever.
In fact, Jan, between now and February 3rd, they only have 1 home game.
And they have, what, 8 on the road? 8 or 9?
8 or 9 on the road, give or take, yes. So that is a tough stretch for the Bulldogs.
Tough stretch.
Especially for a team who is now 1-6 on the year. Hardy inside.
Listen, you can't control certain things, and schedule's one of them, so you got to take it for what it is and use it as a tough learning process and just get better. That's exactly the right call. That's an excellent job of officiating. These gentlemen have been around this all day long. Really good officiating. A lot of people say, well, he went to the floor. It doesn't matter. If he pins the ball, and that's exactly what he did, that's jump ball. Really good call by the official.
Our officials again, Kevin Brown, Mason Atham, and Sean Harmon, doing an excellent job here in this one, as that will bring us to the end of the third. Fourth quarter coming at you next right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Got fouled, got the dunk, got the poster, and gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away, and he puts it away.
Well, now for more than 30 years, the Indy Card Exchange has been your trusted source for buying and selling trading cards of all kinds. And they're refining the game of professional grading with consultation services to save you time and money. Go to IndyCardExchange.com for more information and to see how you can make money off your collection today. Alongside Jan Bozier, I'm Kurt Darling. Quarter number 4 of game number 5 here at the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament on the ISC Sports Network. Jan, the 5th of 6 games here today. We'll be capping things off against Plainfield and Warren Central, but right now Mishawaka, Ravi, New Haven here in this one to work on what could be their 6th win of the season.
Listen, if you're a basketball junkie, it's the place to be. I mean, it's a great environment, great facility. They do it right here. The Cat stats are as good as it gets. And if you're a basketball junkie, not only today, but wow, tomorrow will be even better.
Of course, the preparation for this event is certainly a big undertaking. A special shout out to Dean Hockney, the SID for Kokomo, helping us get all the information that we need to be able to bring you an excellent broadcast here of this tournament on ISC.
Hey, Dean gets double kudos, and he knows why.
Underneath in transition, DeMarcus Wright can't connect.
Well, I'll tell you, Fisher just does an excellent job. We talk a lot about his scoring, but he's a really good rebounder. Averages about 8, and he's had at least that many today.
Standing 6'4", one of 2 6'4" players on this Mishawaka roster who's able to use that size.
Good shot. Boy, New Haven just can't buy a bucket. They have had some decent shots. It's just one of those days where it's not their day shooting the ball.
So now Mishawaka certainly keen to play some possession game here to move this along. And look at Fisher. You talk about his scoring and rebounding. How about his ball handling? Along the right side. And that is Thomas.
Thomas has a really good first step, and he can elevate too. You know, another thing we talk about when you're playing these tournaments like this, it's a chance to get a lot of people a lot of playing time too. So, you know, when you get into conference play or you have some of those tougher opponents, you don't at times get to use your bench. But these are opportunities to really get some other players some opportunity to get some minutes.
Of course, talking to some of these coaches this week, you know, it sounds kind of cliche, but a lot of the big reason for these types of tournaments is to expose your team to other teams that you otherwise would not be facing off with during the regular season.
There you go.
Hard shot that time by Baskerville. Again, only a freshman has yet to score here in this second half, but he did have a big three-pointer to start things off in the first quarter. Only averaging about 4 a contest is Baskerville as he goes to the line. And that is one thing that has certainly been a struggle this season for New Haven, shooting 57% as a team from the foul line. Still, he goes 1 for 2 that time.
Let's look at where we are on both teams. It's 47-28. What you're looking for on the Mishawaka side, Kurt, is you want your team not to look at the scoreboard, but what they're doing and play hard, finish strong, all those types of things to you know, just finish the victory up here, assuming they can hang on and New Haven doesn't make a comeback, and that's what you look for in that team. But for New Haven, listen, they're still young. While they have some seniors on the ball club, it's more of basketball young. Just working to get a little better all the time.
Meanwhile, Mishawaka just finding open passing lanes as Troyer can't hit from in the lane.
Just like that play right there. That was a good check out by Wright.
Devin White throws it up from the block. And an offensive foul here called on New Haven. And that'll be DeMarcus Wright picking up number 2. Johnson moving it up this time. He has had a solid game today. Jackson Snyder letting some time melt off the clock here. Troyer up to Pritchett. Johnson with a little help that time, leaves it this time for Troyer. And Thomas again. Thomas tries to push it ahead to Snyder on the cut. And it's going to be kicked out of bounds there by Cottrell. Here's Jadrian Ezell, who's back into the ball game. One of the younger players here for New Haven, has a season-high 10 points against Fort Wayne Northrop. One of the future players here for New Haven, who's also going to try and take up the task of replacing a player like Darian Brooks, who averaged 14 points a game last year for New Haven. That's certainly a big loss for the Bulldogs from a season ago. Turnover by Mishawaka, nearly turns into points. And they're going to say Snyder stepped on the baseline as he threw it off the New Haven player that time, as Fisher will check back into the ball game along with Makedo.
Now those are some bright shoes.
Certainly the brightest of the bunch right here as Fisher can't get that one to fall. Both teams kind of going through a little bit of a drought scoring-wise here right now, Jan. It's been a 19-point lead here for Mishawaka over the last 2 minutes.
Well, we're starting to get some more bench players in and give them a chance and have to get a little bit of a flow here. Not all of them, but
as Fisher keeps his stretch moving, he is now 2 for 2 at the line today. So New Haven again under 10th-year head coach Bruce Stevens. As Hardy can't get that one to connect and still fighting for an offensive rebound. It goes out of play. But Bruce Stevens took over the job at New Haven back in 2015. He is actually a disciple of one Al Gooden, the new Hall of Famer, who's now the head coach at Lawrence Central. He served under Gooden for 18 seasons while he was at Harding.
That's not a bad person to be under, because that gentleman sure knows how to coach. You take coaches like him and Chris Byers, some of these types of guys been around forever, to have the opportunity to spin and learn from coaches like that, that's so valuable.
Of course, you mentioned Chris Byers of Warren Central. He was an assistant under Coach Holmes at Bloomington South, who is the all-time leading wins in coaching history, and of course in the state of Indiana, but also he was a GA under one Coach Bob Knight while at Indiana in college. So it just kind of goes to show you how the coaching tree plants its roots deep here in Indiana.
That's what gets you employment. Some of that on a resume is pretty visible, people interviewing you. I would say to have Coach Knight on your resume, it's not a bad thing.
Deep three that time from Ezell. Offensive rebound by Hardy. And he'll go to the line. So Hardy, one of the more sizable players here for New Haven, standing all of 6'3", a senior. still has a tough time scoring the ball whenever he tries to get opportunities inside. He only shoots 23% from the field. And coming into this ball game, he was 2 of 14 at the line. But he makes one there.
You were talking about Coach Holmes. He got his 900th victory, I think last week it was sometime.
He did.
And he has a winning percentage over 53 years of 71%. I'd say that's impressive.
That's a pretty good chance of winning right there if you're Coach Holmes.
900 victories. Wow.
That's certainly hard to believe. As we tick in close to the final 3 minutes, and Coach Bodie Bender has seen enough of his starters here today. He will do a line change to milk the rest of this one.
It's a good thing, really good thing. Listen, you know, the youngsters, they practice, they do a lot of things too, and don't get a lot to show for it. So at any time you can get on a court like this and get some playing time, that's awesome.
So players like Landon Johns, Braden Smith, as well as Spencer Weston into the ball game as well. Brady Hoopingarner as well.
Listen, we got a good one coming up. I'm telling you, that's going to be a war, absolute war, Plainfield, Warren Central.
East side versus west side, if you will.
And both of them
played out in Kokomo.
Both of them are really good ball clubs. They both are disappointed. They were right there today and just fell short, so you know they don't want to go home on a loss.
Plainfield ranked in Class 4A. Warren Central still finding their way a little bit. But Plainfield ended up losing to a tough Mount Vernon team who has certainly been flying under the radar here in the early portion of this season.
Yeah, and Mount Vernon has one of their better players still with an injury from football, and they hope to get him back in January, so that'll even make them a little better. Listen, Mount Vernon was down by double digits and came back and won that thing. Plainfield just come out smoking, and Mount Vernon just kind of slowly but surely got in the lead and then won it.
That was an overtime
yes,
game
it was.
As well, to just add to the dramatics of this tournament. And, you know, that's one thing to even consider here, Jan, is the fact that Plainfield now has to get ready for a game later on today after playing what essentially amounts to 5 quarters.
Listen, people ask me that all the time how hard that is. I had a son who went through AAU. I can remember these youngsters playing 4 and 5 games a day, 2 games in a day. It's not earth-shattering. Now, listen, your legs, not saying you won't be a little more tired, because obviously you will, but these young guys, they play basketball all day long. So it's not that big a deal. Especially I can remember some tournaments in AAU was you played 3 and 4 games a day. You get in those pool brackets, and you'd literally play 4, 5 games if you won it all. Now that you were exhausted.
Can certainly see why. The seconds continue to tick away here in this ball game. So New Haven will have to continue licking the wounds and try and figure out their season. Nice shot there by Braden Smith. But they'll drop to 1-7 to start this season. That'll be their worst start since 2007 when they went 1-5. And they'll have to keep things up as they will go on the road against Fort Wayne Snyder in 10 days. So they'll at least have the whole Christmas break and then some to try and regroup moving into the back half of the season. Meanwhile, Mishawaka, they will go on to the next part of this consolation ladder tomorrow.
Mention these officials again. These are not always easy games to officiate. People think, well, it's a big difference in score. Let me tell you, the next official, that doesn't make it easy. These guys have allowed a good balance. They've called fouls when necessary. Really, a veteran crew knew how to call this game. Now, I think they did an excellent job.
Again, Kevin Brown, Mason Affa, and Sean Harmon, our crew here today of officials. Hard foul there underneath. As more foul shots coming here for Weston.
You know, the big thing in any game that you officiate is, and you talked about this before you even come out with your other officials, is you really help as much as you can to get a flow. A flow in the game is so important. And then the other thing is be consistent, and that you talk about that too. Now sometimes a foul's a foul's a foul. You got to call it, but as much as you can, you really want a good flow of consistency.
Hard back the other way as Zell tries to get some theatrics going for his team late in this one.
I like it.
And instead, it's going to be a foul here on Mishawaka.
You know what I like even more? The Mishawaka coach, Bender, gets up and goes, who's taking the charge? Listen, that's coaching, man. That's your teaching your kids. Now, that being said, I'm not sure I want to be in front of some guy that had about a 20-foot.
Let's say that's asking a lot right there if you're having somebody barrel down at you like that.
It doesn't matter, man. That's part of basketball. Sometimes it hurts, but hurting is the right thing to do.
Of course, this is also a younger and less experienced crew out here now for Mishawaka as Coach Bender has pulled his starting lineups. Coach Bodie Bender coming off a year leading the Cavemen to their first sectional title in a long time as they went 20-7 a season ago, and now continuing to build on that success from last year as he moves into his second season here at Mishawaka. Again, he left Carroll of Flora after spending 4 years there. Said it was a very hard decision for him to make, but it was certainly the right one for him to be closer to his family so his granddaughter, or rather his daughter, could be with her grandchildren, with her grandparents there in Mishawaka, along with a few other things as well. But he certainly says he feels happy to be here and building a program here at Mishawaka.
Yep. And trust me, you don't get this, but I do, because I have 5 granddaughters, so I know all about what that means to be around family. So I completely get it. As I told you, you will someday.
Oh, yes. Final 20 seconds here in this one. As Izell still trying to work inside as time winds down. That's Lavelle Ledbetter, the freshman. And so Mishawaka will just try and get it across midcourt and run out the clock here in this one. That'll do it. Final score 55-39. Mishawaka will move on in the consolation ladder here of the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament. Jan Bozier, let's catch our breath. We have another one coming up in just a little bit. So final score again here, 55-39. Alongside Jan Bozier, I'm Kurt Darling. Stay tuned right here for more coverage of the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament here on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
Derek, do you know what we do not have in common with Ted Lasso?
What's that, Jake?
We made it beyond 3 seasons.
Oh, we're going to make it like 30, 40, 50 seasons. As long as your heart holds out, that is. Query and Schultz every Tuesday night. You can watch it right here on the ISC Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X, podcast, whatever it is. Just call it whatever you want.
Twitter doesn't exist.
Just make sure Tuesday nights, Query and Schultz, 7:30, all season long right here on the ISC Sports Network.
We outlasted Twitter.
We did.
Oh, there we go, baby. Oh, my God. Race to the other end, and he punches it down. Lock in. Takes it in. Little energy. Little. Not the entire game. Touchdown. He's got it. He does. Still going. Throws it up, and Hooks will throw it down.
It's time for the nightcap here in Kokomo. Live coverage of the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament here on the ISC Sports Network. You are looking inside historic Memorial Gymnasium as the Warren Central Warriors get set to take on the 17th ranked Plainfield Quakers. Alongside Jan Bozier, I'm Kurt Darling. Today's game is brought to you by York Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. You're not number one, you are. You're number one at York. Jan, good to be with you here for the final game of what's been a long day but an exciting day of basketball here in Kokomo.
Yeah, I think this final one is going to be a scratch and claw physical game. You look at Warren Central, of their 4 losses, 3 of them won by -5, Addicts by -3, and then they lost today by -5. They were beat pretty good by Cathedral, so they got 3 losses by 5 points or less.
Indeed, so certainly a tough slate for Warren Central, but nevertheless a competitive slate for this Warren Central squad as you take a look at the starting lineups here. Certainly one to watch out for, Jevon Guess, who has been one of the storied players for Warren Central this season. He's made a lot of improvements. He averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds in the game last season. He has been one to lean on here for head coach Chris Byers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This 5, the thing they're looking for is consistency. Their defense is really good, but their offense has kind of been up and down.
Chris Byers, the head coach of the Warriors, back here at Warren Central after having spent 4 years at Franklin Central. Of course, he was here at Warren Central before going to Franklin Central, where he led the Warriors to the promised land in 2018. That was an undefeated season and a state championship. Now getting set for the starting lineups for the Plainfield Quakers under longtime head coach Andy Weaver. He is in his 12th season at the helm of the Quakers, who are now 6-2 coming into this tournament. And Jan, they were certainly throwing a bit of a surprise against Mount Vernon earlier today.
Yeah, they really were. They got off to a big lead, and all of a sudden here comes Mount Vernon finally to get a win. And you talking about not losing by much, they just have 2 losses to Carmel by 4, and then today by 6. And so they've been right there, just a little bit here and there. They could be 8-0.
Indeed, they could be. They have a lot of consistent scoring as well. Colin Schmidt, the leading scorer, as you take a look at the starters there. He has a 6'7" frame, does Schmidt, but also substituted as well by Noah Smith, who averages 13 a game, and Eli Ellis, who also averages 13 a game. Final game here of the first day of play here in the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament. This is the consolation ladder, so the winner of this game will move on to play Mishawaka.
A little zone by Plainfield. Go throw a little wrinkle at him early.
And going right down the lane into Guess, but getting a hand on it that time was Noah Smith down low.
Yeah, Noah Smith, the big 6'8", had a really good game today. He averages a little over 13.
Smith, the tallest player on this Plainfield squad at a whopping 6'8", but he's only a sophomore. And
Bingo.
A big 3 to get things moving in the corner that time from Eli Ellis.
Well, they shoot 42% behind the arc, so that's a shot they like. They'll take about 17. They make about 7, at least so far.
On the reverse that time for Warren, there was Keyshawn Harlan. Can't get that one to go, but streaking down the court, and he'll get the and one with it as well as Colton East.
Well, we talked about in the last game about teams that do a good job of pushing the ball, really sometimes excel. But it all starts with the rebound, as we've talked about. Good rebound, good out pass, and then just push it up. A lot of times you get to the free throw line. In this case, the and one, but he misses the and one.
Colton East had 5 points in the game earlier today against the Marauders.
Now Warren really attacks this zone. Kind of a 2-3. They're extending the
and
tall
using
guy.
that size that time,
Yeah.
There is Smith. Still, Warren is able
Bingo.
to keep it. And a big shot there from J.J. Craig, the 6'2" freshman.
James Craig, the freshman, and I've had him a couple times. He has unlimited potential, I'm here to tell you.
And already another foul here on Warren Central as Craig will pick up his first.
Yeah. That's early to get your first one. He'll have to be careful.
That's already 2 quick fouls here on Warren Central.
They'll want Craig in this ball game, that's for sure. Now we're ready.
Going in this time to Smith, and he's unable to handle it, but it's poked out of bounds there by the Warriors.
Warren will play man-to-man for the most part. Let's see if they'll do that for the majority of this game. Plainfield already throwing a little wrinkle. They do run some zone.
Smith from the top, just off the mark. Pushing ahead this time are the Warriors.
Nice pass.
Harlan looking inside that time to Guess, but he can't quite handle it. Somehow the Warriors keep possession, and Guess tries twice at point-blank range, still can't get it to go, and they'll reset the offense.
But Curdy's active, and that's what you want. Even if you miss, keep it active.
Guess again from up top.
Well, you just feel the intensity already in this one.
These are two teams that are very competitive already this year, as Coach Chris Byers will take his first timeout of the ball game as they'll try to discuss a few things here. So while we have a moment, you may know that Perry Kitchen from his days on the MLS pitch. Well, today his pitch is this: finding you the absolute best deal for your mortgage. Contact Perry and Approved Mortgage today at 317-509-0929. Approved Mortgage is Central Indiana's oldest locally owned and operated firm, and Perry is ready to help find you your dream home today. Again, 317-509-0929.
Well, Coach Byers pretty animated in that timeout. He was not happy with the checkouts and the effort towards rebounding. He's that type of coach, man. He wants good physical, hard play.
So out of the timeout from the elbow. Nice shot there taken by Harlan. Offensive rebound to Guess. Still can't get a shot to fall. Contested shots all around here for the Warriors. They just can't get them to go. Ellis in transition. He knocks it down. 2 for 2 now is Eli Ellis from deep.
Well, he averages just under 14, but man, that's a shooter. You can see as soon as he gets the ball, he's looking to score.
He's shooting 40% from behind the arc this season.
I'd say get him the ball. Anybody that shoots 40% behind the arc, you know he's a shooter, get him the ball.
Speaking of getting the ball, here is Guess. He puts it back outside. Long three from Ezekiel Kirby. Leaves that one short. Pushing ahead. Plainfield down low.
Really
Nicely done by
nice.
Colton East.
Absolutely. Body control. Kept the ball up high, Kurt. Laid it off the glass.
4 points for East. 6 points for Ellis. That makes it 10 here for Plainfield in the early going.
Plainfield really looking sharp here early.
Quakers get a brief steal that time, but Kirby able to come away with it. Long three. Bingo that time as well from Robert Walker.
Walker, his senior, really wanted that one to go. Good shot. Boy, Warren needed that, down by just 4.
Well, Jan, it was a lack of three-point shooting in game number 5. It is all three-point shooting here in this one.
These are two teams who do not want to go home 0-2 in this tournament.
Ellis again from deep, leaves it short that time. He wanted another one. Kirby, quick in transition, can't get the bunny to fall.
Great effort, just a little hard on the glass, but man, he was flying.
Both teams are putting the pedal to the metal here in this one. Deep is Schmidt this time.
Boy, I like it. I love it when teams got the green light. Schmidt, a 15-point player, just ready to shoot the ball. Plainfield looked sharp, but listen, they were sharp today. They got to stay with this the whole game.
The Quakers now 3 of 5 from the field here in the first 6 minutes of this ball game. Nobody home on the outlook pass that time from Robert Walker, and it's a turnover by the Warriors. Few subs now here for Coach Chris Byers. Nick Glover among those coming in, as well as Atkins Smith. So 2 seniors here adding a lot of size, and that is something that Warren Central brings a lot of here. In fact, they only have 1 player listed as below 6 foot on their roster.
Warren Central can really D you hard. They love to play a physical type game.
Ellis, quick pass underneath to Smith.
Listen, for people watching that are young kids, did you see how quickly he got that? Never brought it below his chin and took it right to the glass.
In fact, I don't think he hit the ground once he got the pass.
Absolutely. Noah Smith really playing well early.
Kirby around the horn this time to Craig. Glover looking inside, nothing there. Tough high post zone defense here from Plainfield.
Well, they're putting Noah Smith way up at the top of that long length.
Three in the corner that time. Walker off the mark. Offensive rebound by Glover. Gets it poked away by Smith.
Well, that came off Glover's shoe, and just that's another turnover.
And Gilead almost steps on the sideline there. Instead, they're going to say he was fouled, and that will be Kirby picking up his first.
Boy, three-point shooting early is what you like to see. Here's Warren in the corner, and then just Plainfield, Ellis, and then back to Warren, and then Plainfield again. Man, I love it. I love it when young kids come.
It was raining outside earlier today, but it has been raining inside here today, as looks like the official is going to be asking for some relief from one of the fans here along the sideline. As
you can't do that. You can't participate with officials.
And they're going to tell they have asked a couple of fans here to leave the ball game here.
Yeah,
and
you can't do that. I get it, you're enthused and all that, but that's not fair to the official either.
So we play on here in this one. Ellis from deep, just off the mark. Into the corner again. Craig can't get that one to fall. Here's Gilead again, feeding it to Smith, leaves it short from the elbow.
Not a great shot that time. I love where it was at. He just really wasn't positioned to shoot it.
Here's Kirby, working along the baseline, tries a reverse, gets it to go, and has the and one with it. What a play there by the junior point guard.
Boy, he was absolutely determined. Uses the rim as a defender. See right here? Had a little English on it, got the roll, and the foul. Good move.
So again, Ezekiel Kirby had 17 points versus Ben Davis earlier this season and 18 points against Center Grove, where he also hit 3 trays. But he misses the and one, but a big offensive rebound that time by Glover. It gets poked out of bounds, and it stays with the Warriors. So Warren creating opportunities for themselves here in spite of some of their shortcomings.
Well, listen, that was because of the timeout. It was made pretty clear what I seen. Listen, you guys got to play a little harder than this, or we're not going to be competitive. And since that timeout, they have been very competitive.
Looking into Walker. Walker on the elbow. Contested shot a little too strong that time, but going up and getting it is Glover.
Look at the difference now on the board. Glover just really good on the offensive glass. And just like that, Kurt, it's down to 5.
So far it has been Plainfield from the start in this one, but Warren Central has kept things tough. Smith, the big man from deep, a little too strong.
And right now Warren's owning the boards on both sides the last 4 possessions.
And Kirby goes hard into the paint that time, and he's going to draw a foul here on Plainfield. And that will be number 1 there on Landon Gilead.
Take a look at this. Is just effort. This is what good coaches do. They see some effort. There you see a push.
And a steal by Gilead, who had the foul and now creates the turnover.
Plainfield's been impressive with their quickness early.
In the corner, 3 up and 3 not quite down there that time by Isaac Stead.
And very few second opportunities for the Quakers.
Glover. And the high post just going to take it himself, splitting the defender.
That's great decision by Glover. 6'5", long length. If they're not going to stop ball, that's what you do.
Only a 3-point deficit now as Warren is on a 7-0 run.
That's a veteran move play right there.
Arvantis from the top, just off the mark. Offensive rebound falls into the hands of Stead.
Well, that happens a lot with Plainfield because they shoot the ball outside and you get some of those real long rebounds. Really, really good first period of play. I'll tell you, this has been fun. Both teams getting after it. We knew they would.
Here is Harper Baker lands, the 6'3" freshman off the bench here for Plainfield. And he's going to try and set things up here for the final shot. Into the corner, 3 on the way. Bingo that time from Landon Gilead. And that was a big shot to end quarter number 1 for Plainfield. It is a 6-point advantage for the Quakers as they lead the Warren Central Warriors. We're just getting started here in game number 6 of the Phil Cox Memorial Classic here on ISC.
It's the wrap-up the year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. Drive home a new Ram 1500 Bighorn for just $329 per month.
We're not number 1.
You are!
You're number 1 at York.
It's the wrap-up the year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. All 2023s must go. Save up to 15% off a new Jeep Gladiator Sport.
We're not number 1.
You are!
You're number 1 at York.
Well, there's the dunkometer right now, but of course that has to be at a 0 at the moment. We haven't had any dunks in this game. Instead, Jan, it has been plenty of three-pointers. Both teams shooting over 40% from behind the arc, as you can see by some of these highlights.
Yeah, Plainfield just has the green light, and Warren Central does as well. Warren shot 2 for 5, 40%. Plainfield 4 for 8. That last one was all set up. He was ready to shoot. Got the other players made the defenders look at him and made his shooter wide open, and then he just strokes it.
One thing that Warren Central has certainly been making work for themselves is offensive rebound. They have really gotten some good looks down low as well.
That's a great point. I thought Warren, after that timeout, was a different team physically.
Still, the Warriors are down by 6 entering the second period, and now about that feed inside by Gilead.
Little North Carolina back cut.
And now the official's going to tell them to reset the fouls. Again, that's something that everybody has to get used to here this season. The fouls reset for teams at the end of each quarter as we take a look at this shot again here from Gilead.
How about that for officiating? All the things that's going on, and he's seen the fouls weren't reset. That is why these are some of the best around.
Again,
really good officiating.
Again, it's the new rule this year. Fouls reset at the end of every quarter, but also after 5 fouls, as there's a big three-pointer there from Ezekiel Kirby.
Boy, that puts Warren Central within 5. 3-pointers, I like it.
And there's a foul coming up here on Barton.
Well, they got who they get, I think. Let's see who they got the foul.
It's going to be
on.
Madden Berryald, it looks like here, who gets his first.
Well, reaching. Listen, as an ex-official, you can bump, you can do a lot of things, and we talk about this a lot. You reach, you're going to get a foul. It's that simple.
Of course, to continue the thought on the fouls as well, is that once each team hits 5 fouls in the quarter, that is when the bonus is implemented, and it's an automatic 2 foul shots as another 3 falls, this time for Colin Schmidt.
Colin Schmidt, just under 15 a game, ready to shoot. Plainfield with 3 players in double figures. That's great balance.
And that's already 5 made three-pointers as a team for the Quakers here. Taking it hard inside is Glover, fighting for every rebound as Aiden Sims will bail him out.
Effort got Warren Central another possession here.
Now the question is, can they take it? They have had lots of second chance opportunities. Ezekiel Kirby can't quite get that one to fall as there's a foul away from the ball going for the rebound.
Well, Plainfield had inside position. The official, you can go up behind somebody, but you can't go over. That's what the official called. As long as you go straight up, you're all right. A lot of people feel like just because you're behind somebody, it's a foul. It's not if you go straight up. If you go over, that is and should be called a foul.
Another thing helping Plainfield in this one here, Jan, they have yet to turn the ball over. Inside, Schmidt, contested jumper from the lane.
Under control, good elevation. 6'7", uses that length to his advantage.
Cutting inside,
that's pretty
uncontested, there was Sims.
Both teams playing on all cylinders now. This is pretty basketball. You like basketball? We got one for you right now because both teams really playing well.
And that's considering that both of these teams went through the ringer in their previous opponents earlier today. Warren losing to Jeffersonville and Plainfield losing to Mount Vernon.
Yeah, Warren Central felt like he traveled, and they may have a point.
And there it is. So that'll be their first turnover of the ball game here for Plainfield as Noah Smith will come back in to bring some much-needed size back down low for Plainfield.
Let me tell you something. I've seen Warren a few times. They've kicked in this unbelievable physical defense that I've seen him. They don't. His problem is they don't stay with it all the time, and he reminds them when they don't. But when they are kicked in and they're locked in, they're really good defensively, and they can turn that into offense.
Plainfield has stretched it back to an 8-point advantage. That is the largest lead of the ball game so far.
Plainfield likes that zone. They're very comfortable in it. You can play that when you got the lead. You're certainly a little more comfortable with the lead.
Trying to feed Barry all down low. Couldn't quite get the handle. It goes out of bounds. Looks like it was tipped just out of reach off of Plainfield, so it'll stay here with the Warriors.
Andy Weaver in his 12th year here at Plainfield.
Looking for win 150.
Well, he's had some really good teams here lately. Won a sectional in 2021.
Previously had long stints at Pioneer and Western before.
Yep.
Of course, he won 6 sectional championships and a regional while the head coach of Western.
Both these schools have one state championship,
which is certainly kind of hard to believe given the caliber of coaching and players that have come in through both of these programs, like Noah Smith, a sophomore, who gets that one to go.
Plainfield in 1999 and Warren Central in 2018.
Big three there by Robert Walker.
Man, this is good basketball. I love shooting.
Well, Jan, Warren Central has made just as many 3-point field goals as they have 2-point field goals in this one.
Warren Central is one of those ball clubs that will be and can be competitive on any night. If you take Warren Central lightly, you're in trouble. Now, listen, they play in one of the toughest sectionals there is in Sectional 10. But listen, I think they have a shot on any night. I really do.
Getting his own rebound off the three was Walker, and that time Kirby trying to get the pass outside. Instead, he's fouled.
That sectional this year's at Lawrence North, a 7-team sectional, one of the more difficult every single year. Listen, Plainfield plays in sectional 12 held at Terre Haute South this year. It's a 5-team sectional. That's always a tough one, too.
Of course, Brownsburg going to be one of the top contenders in that sectional this year as well. Glover working hard this time on Baker Lands.
Good spacing by Warren Central. See, right to cut. That's what teams need to do.
And instead, it's going to be a traveling violation on Robert Walker as he saw his opening, but got a little too jumpy, and he turns it over.
Glover comes up right to the free throw line, and that's what you need because that forces the defense, especially in that zone, to come up with him, and then that helps spacing even more.
Eli Ellis back on the floor for Plainfield, so Warren going to have to start respecting the shooting game a little more here in this stint of the Quakers.
Warren staying in that very, very tight man-to-man. But Plainfield's doing a good job here of moving. If you're going to play against teams that play you really tough and tight, you got to move.
From the wing, just off the front of the iron, but a hard rebound by Smith. And it's going to be a foul here on Warren.
Well, once again, the arm comes down. Pretty quick hands, tough call, but officials see the arm come down. I'm just telling you. Take a look. Oh, they don't doubt that's a foul. It was more clear there than from here. Great replay.
These free throws brought to you by the Indy Card Exchange. Now, for more than 30 years, Indy Card Exchange has been your trusted source for buying and selling trading cards of all kinds, and they are refining the game of professional grading with consultation services to save you time and money. Go to IndyCardExchange.com for more information and to see how you can make money off of your collection.
3:15 left in this first half. It has flown by, but what a beautiful half of basketball. Wow, this has been fun.
Noah Smith goes 1 of 2 at the line there. Still an 8-point lead here for the Quakers.
Quakers staying in that zone.
Harlan underneath. Yes, and the and one. Look at that play. What teamwork on the assist from Kirby to find Guest down low.
Man, he threw a dime right there, right to the hands. Beautiful. Take a look right here. Look at the pinpoint pass. If he doesn't throw that when he doesn't, how about the hands of one Guest just to hang on to that? Love it. Great vision, good pass, and then the finish.
But still, Guess can't cash in on the and one. The Warriors now 0 for 2 at the line today. Here's Gilead in transition, and he leaves that one long.
Free throws have been a little bit of a problem for Warren.
Hard inside, and that's going to be an offensive foul here on Guess. How about that play by Schmidt to take the charge?
I like it for a couple reasons. Number one, you always have a shot. Usually, it's 50-50 whether you get or not, but he also stops the bucket, which is important. It's a lot about taking the charge, but if you do that, you're going to at least more than likely stop that layup. And he got the call.
And Schmidt comes up a little gimpy, so he's going to take a seat. So here is Baker Lands, who had a solid scoring effort against Mount Vernon earlier today.
This could be a really big bucket here for Plainfield with a 6-point lead with 2:30 left.
Here is Ellis, leaves it short.
Yeah, he shot that one quick. And here could be a freebie.
Here is Ezekiel Kirby getting behind in transition.
There's your freebie.
7 points now for Kirby, but back the other way. How about that shot?
That was Ellis, wasn't it?
Indeed it was.
Yeah, he's ready to shoot. I like it.
Trying to answer. It is raining threes on both ends of the floor. Robert Walker.
Listen, they're making up for all the games we've seen poor three-point shooting. I love it.
That has been the name of the game today.
Oh my, quick
Turnover by
again.
Plainfield. Down the lane again. Missing point blank is Walker, but gets his own rebound and finishes.
Great effort. Boy, Warren Central just playing at a different level of intensity than when they started with.
2-point game.
Coach Byers has them locked in right now.
Plainfield led by as many as 10 here in this half. Gilead leaves it now for Smith off the block. A big shot right there for the Quakers.
He's so smooth. He likes that jump shot right at the 15-foot mark right at the elbow.
Both teams are shooting lights out from deep in this one. From the elbow. Too strong that time from Harlan. Loose ball. Guess comes away with it, and he turns it over into the hands of Ellis. Here's Baker Lands. Ahead to Smith. From the block. Back-to-back buckets for Noah Smith.
Noah Smith, really promising sophomore in the state, just continues to be very cool shooting the ball.
Foul here on Plainfield. And that'll be Ellis picking up his first.
Both teams just putting a lot of pressure on the opponent because both teams scoring at a high rate. When you do that, it puts pressure on the other team to really need to score.
Guess, the junior, attacking the sophomore Smith, and Guess will go back to the line. So Javon Guess 0 for 1 at the line today. And free throw shooting, as you mentioned, Jan, continues to be an issue.
It has haunted them just ever so slightly this year. You talk about losses by 5, losses by 3, and losses by 5. Free throw shooting may have been the difference. That's better form that time.
Able to make at least one of them there.
Good ball rotation, kept the elbow in, really good form that time.
Warren has not led in this ball game, but they have come close. Baker Lands.
Tough
Nifty shot along the baseline.
Tough shot, really good shot. Tough one though.
He had 13 in this morning's game against Mount Vernon. That is his first bucket here today. Guess, triple teamed inside. Hard off the glass that time. Right down the lane goes Kirby.
Kirby, smooth.
Ezekiel Kirby is certainly small in stature, but he is coming up big in big moments.
Plainfield points to one shot here with 13 left, 5-point lead.
Final 10 seconds. Baker Lands dribbling around like he did at the end of the first.
Coach Byers
Gilead
calling for 5 seconds. He didn't get it.
Lands just has to throw it, and he hits it! What a shot by Baker Lands at the buzzer. He literally just threw up a prayer, and it goes through, and it gives Plainfield an 8-point lead at halftime.
Let's take a look. Boy, he knew where the shot clock was at, or not the shot clock, but the clock, and he literally got that thing out of his hands when the red lights around the glass expired,
And that was a big one, but is certainly indicative of how this game has gone today. Lots of three-pointers hit by both teams, and it results in an 8-point advantage. And they're going to review it and see if maybe it was a 2-point shot. It was certainly looked like it was a 3, but we'll get clarification on that at the other end of this timeout. Heck of a game here in this one, here on the ISC Sports Network.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. Drive home a new Ram 1500 Bighorn for just $329 per month.
We're not number one.
You are!
You're number one at York.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. All 2023s must go. Save up to 15% off a new Jeep Gladiator Sport.
We're not number one.
You are!
You're number one at York.
And gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away and he puts it away.
Hey there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
Derek, do you know what we do not have in common with Ted Lasso?
What's that, Jake?
We made it beyond 3 seasons.
Oh, we're going to make it like 30, 40, 50 seasons. As long as your heart holds out, that is. Query and Schultz every Tuesday night. You can watch it right here on the ISC Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X,
Isn't it
podcast,
X
whatever it is. Just call it whatever you
Twitter
want.
doesn't exist.
Just make sure Tuesday nights, Query and Schultz, 7:30, all season long right here on the ISC Sports Network.
We outlasted Twitter.
We did.
Well, Jan, let's go ahead and make sure that this is clear. This was definitely a three-pointer, even though there may have been a little bit of confusion at the scores table, but still, heck of a shot here by Harper Baker Lands to close out that half for Plainfield.
Yeah, that's just awareness. It's knowing where the clock was, and if you needed to shoot, he was ready, and he feels pretty good about that trot off, doesn't he?
Indeed he does. Halftime here at Kokomo, inside Memorial Gymnasium here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Jan Bozier. I'm Kurt Darling. A heck of a way to cap off this first day of the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament here. And Jan, you've talked about it. It's just been a competitive ball game here. In spite of the fact that these two teams are coming off of losses earlier today, you certainly wouldn't know it based on how these teams are playing in this one.
Well, you got two veteran coaches that know how to do one thing, and that's win. And they made it very clear, we're not going home with another loss. Listen, how about three-point shooting, something we haven't seen in a while? For Warren Central, they were 5-11 with 46%, a little under that. And for Plainfield, they were 7 of 14 for 50%. Unbelievable three-point shooting. Points in the paint, both tied at 6. Second chance points, both tied at 6. Rebounding is an interesting stat. You talked about it during the timeout. Warren has 22 total rebounds. Plainfield has 11. Now, that stat gets a little distorted when you're shooting real well. You don't have to rebound as much. But still, let's applaud Warren for this. After that timeout, I keep going back to that timeout because Warren has been a different team since Coach Byers called that timeout. They have flat out gotten after it.
Indeed they have, certainly rebounding as well as overall effort. 11 points for Robert Walker to lead all scorers for Warren Central, but Noah Smith and Eli Ellis both have 9 points for Plainfield. All of the 9 points for Ellis coming from behind the arc. He is 3 of 6 in that regard. We'll go ahead and take another quick timeout. When we come back, we'll look at some first half highlights, most of which are three-pointers, as we have been mentioning. Keep it here on the ISC Sports Network.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. Drive home a new Ram 1500 Bighorn for just $329 per month.
We're not number one.
You are!
You're number one at York.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. All 2023s must go. Save up to 15% off a new Jeep Gladiator Sport.
We're not number one.
You are!
You're number one at York.
Oh, there we go, baby. Oh, my God. Race to the other end, and he punches it down. No, still going. Lock in. Takes it in. Little energy, little. Out the entire game. Touchdown. He's got it. He's up. Still going. Throws it up, and Hooks will throw it down.
Let's take a look at some first half highlights here, Jan. As we talked about, most of it three-point shooting from both of these squads.
Isn't that great to see? I'm telling you, it's fun. When the threes start raining, it spreads it out and just doesn't become that in-the-paint type ball game that everybody goes, okay, we won. But, man, this has been a beautiful ball game. Shooting, inside, outside, tough defense. We've had it all, Kurt.
But still, it has been, in a way, a tough game in the paint for both of these squads, as you see by a couple of those highlights.
Well, you become very difficult to defend when you got shooters, you got guys in the paint. Plainfield has that, so does Warren. So defensively, it really challenges your opponent.
So while we finish up those highlights, let's take a look at what you can expect for the coming portion of this tournament going in to tomorrow. Again, earlier tonight, it was New Haven and Mishawaka facing each other. Mishawaka had the win in that ball game, so they move on in the consolation ladder. Going on into the winner's bracket tomorrow, Kokomo defeated New Haven earlier today, so they move on to face South Bend Riley, who defeated Mishawaka in the opening round. And then you also have Mount Vernon and Jeffersonville going up against each other to kick off tomorrow in the winner's bracket. Plainfield, of course, playing Warren Central right now. The winner of this game will go on to face Mishawaka in the latter portion of the consolation ladder, and then the loser of this game will go on to face New Haven to at least try and figure out who will finish 7th and 8th place in this respective tournament. But there was the big shot there from Harper Baker Lands to close out that half. And now, Jan, as we get ready for this second half here, can we expect these two teams to be just as hot shooting in the first half?
Well, we may expect it. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but I hope they do, because it just makes for a really good ball game. People at home love shooting. I love shooting. Listen, you know, you asked me about playing this close together. These guys don't look like they're tired to me. Now they may become tired, but boy, it's a desire, it's a mentality, it's really about how you're coached to get out there and play. These kids got more energy than we could ever use.
Of course.
So they'll be fine. I say that, and then they'll just, I don't know. But so far, that first half, really good. Now listen, you've got to defend the three now, right? Both teams have made a statement. If you're not going to get in our face, we're going to hit it. So what that does is forces these defense to extend. Now, both teams also have great interior plays. The chess match will continue in the second. How will you defend? Plainfield's been in this zone. Are they going to stay in it? They love that they play zone most of the game. And Warren plays the man. So let's see how both teams and coaches adjust in the second half.
Certainly a big adjustment for Plainfield as they came off of a tough loss to Mount Vernon earlier today. Plainfield, the number 20 team overall in the IBCA coaches poll. That is 1 through 4A rankings. Plainfield certainly getting a lot of respect from the voters on the coaches' side of things. They are 17 in 4A coming into this ball game, but Warren Central, they're unranked in both polls coming into today. But yet, Jan, even though they're a 2-4 team, they are playing like a team that certainly is deserving of a lot more respect.
Well, absolutely. We've highlighted the fact they've lost 3 games of the 4 by 5 points or less. And a lot of that is free throw shooting. If they can get that a little more consistent and dialed in, that will be a difference maker and make it just a little, maybe enough to get them over that hump.
Warren Central coming out of the MIC Conference with teams such as Ben Davis, who went to the state championship a season ago with an undefeated season. In fact, one-upping the Warren Central undefeated season from 2018, where they went 32-0. Ben Davis going 33-0 in that campaign. So certainly a lot of competitive basketball coming out of the Metropolitan Interscholastic Conference. Plainfield, on the other hand, coming out of the Mid-State, which has certainly been competitive. Plainfield now 3-0 overall in the Mid-State standings so far as that conference continues to play out. They have other teams like Franklin and Decatur Central and Martinsville as well, who put together some competitive rosters throughout the remainder of this season. Coach Andy Weaver looking for win number 150 here today in his time at the helm of the Quakers.
Listen, of the first 8 games that Warren plays, all 8 have winning records. They played a tough role here early. Now listen, Plainfield's schedule gets much tougher at the end.
Of course, that'll be against teams like Center Grove, Franklin, and Danville. Meanwhile, Warren going down low to get things moving here with Javon Guess.
Guess is just a handful down low. I'd get him the ball. I like the offense to go through him as much as possible.
Meanwhile, the starting 5 back out on the court here for Plainfield, which includes Eli Ellis, who has the ball. He is hot from behind the arc, as is Schmidt, who is hot from inside the arc as well, but he's off the mark on that shot.
Really good rebound by Walker. Somebody went to the deck.
And that's going to be another offensive foul on Guess as Schmidt draws another charge that time. So Schmidt has been making things frustrating here for Guess as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah, you see the arms? You can't do that. Anytime those arms are moving like that, you're going to get the foul. Reaching, backwards or forwards, and still reaching.
Hot in transition, there was Baker Lands.
I don't care who wins, but that was the right call. It just was.
East, back to Schmidt, into the corner, Smith.
Good
and
rebound
Plainfield
again.
0 for 2 on their first 2 possessions.
And Kurt Plainfield's not getting second chances now.
Guess trying to cut it to Glover, stolen away by Ellis.
Not a good decision that time. He's made really good decision that time, not so much.
Smith finds Ellis again in the corner. Cutting to the basket hard and blocked there by Guess.
Great block.
Now Guess comes in transition, has Ezekiel Kirby, and he gets another and one.
This young man right here uses his body as well as anybody. He is so much confident. Look, this is a beautiful time clean block. Here comes transition. Love it. Couple passes. Look how he uses his body. Hesitates. Listen, he's not the tallest guy, but he may be the smartest when it comes to be transition time.
Ezekiel Kirby now has 11 points.
You know, sometimes young players aren't real comfortable in the open floor, but he is. He finishes as good as anybody.
And he gets the and one opportunity as well to give him 12. He leads all scorers on the floor right now.
I can understand it. He's just really got a high basketball IQ. He knows what to do and when to do it.
Ellis into the corner this time.
That's a travel. Absolutely, he did. Good call by the official again. These guys are flat on top of their game. He shuffled his feet. Clearly a travel, and it was. Listen, until you've officiated, you don't know how hard that call is. It happens so fast, and you as an official are looking at so many things, and if you're not looking at the right thing, you're never going to see that because it's so fast. Really great job by the officials.
The officials today, Bryce Barton, Jeremy Horn, and Stacy Minier. Here's Guess, still can't get a couple shots to fall at point-blank range.
Warren left one on the table that time.
Ellis now has East. Ellis, 3 in the corner, just leaves that one short. That's a dangerous shot right there if you're Warren. And Plainfield's going to get a second chance as Guess picks up another foul.
Didn't quite see that one.
So that'll be number 3 on Guess here.
Yeah, Guess is just so active. He's so active. He's just got to learn to keep those hands up a little more. Uses his hands quite a bit.
Ellis contested from deep, a little long that time. Baker lands from the baseline again. This time Ellis will pull in short, and he gets one to go.
When you shoot the same way every single time, and Warren Central wants a timeout.
So Coach Byers gonna gather the troops here as he tries to talk things over during this 30-second timeout. This timeout Brought to you by York Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. You can find excellent vehicle deals and quality service with a state-of-the-art service facility at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. We've been serving the area around Indianapolis for 18 years, and we're looking forward to being here for many more. Find your favorite models, including the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Jeep Wrangler, and Chrysler Pacifica and Ram. York Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, a proud sponsor of today's broadcast.
Really love the timeout by Coach Byers. Listen, it's only a 5-point lead, but he understands how tough this game is. He had it really close, and now it went to 5. What he doesn't want, Kurt, is it to go anymore. That's what that time was. And remember what happened last time he called timeout? May I remind you? Good things happen. Let's see how Warren adjusts.
In fact, that good thing, Jan, they went on a 7-0
they
run
did.
out of the timeout.
I think he knows when to call those timeouts. I
Turnover.
think he's been around the block a few times.
Turnover here by Warren, and it results in almost a 3 there by Eli Ellis, and a foul going up for the rebound on Plainfield.
Much better job, and just like that, all of a sudden, Warren has better inside position. That's what that timeout did. Got some young men's attention and a much better job out of his ball club of checking out, and that caused a foul by Plainfield. One of the best in the business. Both coaches really good.
Plainfield has yet to call a timeout here in this ball game. Each team with 2 fouls.
That's a lazy pass.
Here's Baker Lands off the steal.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you make a lazy pass. Plainfield really good about making you pay.
3, though, in transition by Ezekiel Kirby.
Man, I love that kid. I just love his confidence. I love the way he plays the game. 4-point ball game.
Let it be known that Zeke Kirby, he is the shortest player listed on the Warren Central roster, yet he has scored the most points in this ball game. It is now a 4-point deficit here for Warren Central. Again, the Warriors have never led in this ball game.
I remember last year.
Cutting right to the rim is Colton East.
That's a structure play, and they ran it to perfection. Coach Byers not going to be happy about that. No communication to get backside help.
3 on the way, this time from Walker off the mark. Guess hard for the rebound. Still can't get it. Another offensive rebound, and there's going to be a foul on the floor before the shot, and Javon Guess certainly shrugging in frustration right there.
Well, it's not because lack of hustle. He's worked his tail off of this game, and he was going with everything he had. Finally got the foul. He's frustrated and didn't get it to fall, but man, is he putting out effort. You can't fault effort with him.
What an exciting ball game this has been.
It's been excellent.
Kirby along the baseline.
Good decision. Nothing there. Get it out, set it up.
Approaching the halfway point here of the third quarter.
Warren could really use a bucket here, down a couple possessions.
Guess leaves it for the freshman Craig. Back on the give and go, down low for Guess.
That's a pretty pass. Guess just does what he can do. Wow, really nice play by Warren. They needed that, and they got it. Well done.
This is the closest Warren has been in a while. Touched out of bounds by the Warriors.
Tough pass. Warren defended that pick and roll pretty well on that backside. Down to 4. Let's see what Plainfield can do. Back and forth we go, Kurt. I love this.
Warren has gotten the deficit to at least 2. That was midway through the second quarter, but Plainfield has not surrendered the lead. And a traveling violation there on Baker Lands.
There's a traffic violation because Warren Central's back into that overdrive pressure defense, and that has a tendency to cause teams to do things they don't want to do. Warren has a chance to cut it again.
Guess contested, and the end one.
There you go. Get it to the big guy. He's playing phenomenal. He's posting hard. He's a strong young man to begin with. Listen, he wants the ball. That's key. Get your hand up, want the ball. When you're playing that well, want the ball, call for it. And they get him the ball, and he produces. He's taking this team on his shoulders right now. That's impressive.
Guess had 3 points all of the first half. He now has 6 in this quarter. And he makes
go.
it 7. That is now a 1-point ball game. Warren Central crawling back.
Absolutely loves the way Guest plays this game. Absolutely love. I can stay here all night. I may have to if they played real late.
And now some deja vu here for Plainfield. They were up big in this ball game, and they have now given the lead. They're giving the game back a little bit to Warren as there's another turnover. But just like it was earlier today, Jan, Mount Vernon came back from a huge deficit.
But pressure does funny things to other teams. Now, some of that was a little bit of sloppiness, but pressure did some good things.
Give inside to Guess.
Guess
He is
again.
putting the Warriors on his shoulders.
Guess has absolutely taken this Warrior ball club and put it on his big muscle shoulders.
First lead of the ball game for Warren Central, and Plainfield will take their first timeout.
Sir. What a comeback by the Warriors. Look at this. Little pass, gathers himself. See, the key is he gathers himself, uses the legs, go up on the glass and finish. Young men use that as a highlight reel on how to finish.
This is a 7-1 run here for Warren Central. And just like we talked about earlier, Jan, when Warren called that early timeout, they went on a run in the first half. Ditto in the second half.
I'm guessing they may not want the next timeout.
Maybe not.
It has an Energizer Bunny involved in that, right?
Indeed, but keep in mind, folks, that this is in the consolation ladder.
Yeah.
This is not for the first or second or third anymore, but still, what a heck of a ball game.
Let me tell you something. Coach Byers, in the big picture, he would coach the same regardless because it's all about getting your young men to play better. And if you get them to play better, good things will happen. You're not going to play for him and play in some consolation game and take the night off. It ain't going to happen.
Let's take a look at this last play again here from Guess.
Oh, this is a great view. See, he takes one big, not bad defense at all. Listen, it's one thing when there's no defense, and that's pretty good defense, but power and legs got it up.
By the way, a special shout out to our ISC Sports Network crew, Jordan Shue and Vince Morellas, a two-man show, doing an excellent job bringing us our first day, including getting creative with the excellent camera angles that we've had here in this one. So back out of the timeout, a much-needed timeout by Plainfield, who have yet to get a basket over the last couple of minutes.
Let's see what they may have talked about during their timeout. First time they've trailed in a while. There's that backdoor play, but well defended.
Trey Barton. Nothing there.
Good rebound again.
In the corner, Kirby waits his turn. Can't quite get that one to fall. That would have brought down the house if Kirby had hit that one. And he's saying, that one's on me right there, but still, he waited for his opening, and he took his shot.
Listen, you let him shoot any day of the week. He's very confident. He can stroke it.
By the way, 2.5 minutes left to go here in the third, and Plainfield has 4 fouls. One more, and that will put Warren at the foul line for 2 shots.
This young man needs to get going. He's been quiet here in the last few possessions. He being Noah Smith.
Barton has Schmidt. Schmidt's been quiet here this second half, and he continues to do so.
Really good defense. They move their feet. They're moving their feet. That's how you play defense, not your hands and arms. Move your feet.
So Kirby and Barrialt working the forecourt here as he gets some guidance here from the coaching staff. Inside 2 minutes. Craig on Guess, inside, outside, Barrialt.
Got it!
Boom, baby!
Boy, is that pretty basketball or what? Absolutely spacing, rotation, and a guy was ready to shoot. Well done.
What a shot there by Madden Barrialt, his first bucket of the game, and now gives Warren their largest lead of the ball game.
Look at this. It's a set play. They get an overload on the side. They have spacing. They force the defense to all rotate over, kick it in the corner, and he's ready to shoot. And key is you got to hit it, and he did.
He did. How about this comeback by Warren Central? In fact, by my unofficial count right here, Jan, it is a 12-1 run over the last 2.5 minutes here
it's
for
fundamentals.
Warren.
It's absolutely taking fundamentals and doing it the right way. Their defense has been spectacular. They stop reaching, start moving their feet, less fouls. On offense, they're getting it into the big guy, letting him do his thing. And then when they collapse, they go outside. It's basketball 101.
Actually, correction, 12-2 over the last 2.5 minutes.
Plainfield needs some points in the worst way.
Here's Baker Lands.
Tough
He
shot.
cannot deliver.
That's a tough shot. Fall away.
Plainfield having a hard time finding their rhythm now.
Warren's saying, listen, no hurry here. A minute left in this third period. Don't need to be in a hurry. You got 4-point lead. I'd stand there holding all day. Especially Plainfield's still in the zone.
In fact, they have Caden Vanderbush posting up down low, the 6'5" senior.
That's exactly what you should do. Now, fans don't like this, but listen, when you got a lead, there's no sense making it, at a minimum, make it bigger or go in and you still got a 4-point lead.
They are going to force Plainfield to take the ball back.
Well, they're going to force Plainfield out of the zone. Let's see if they do it.
Inside this time, Aiken Smith.
Got to be careful. There you go. Good decision. Real smart basketball there. Nothing there. No need to force.
Keyshawn Harlan. Back up top to the freshman Craig. And
That's
back
a
to
bad
Barriott.
pass.
There is a steal here by Baker Lands.
That's a bad
Puts it up.
pass.
He's going to draw the foul and go to the line.
Oh, my.
But still an opportunity for Plainfield to get some much-needed points as Baker Lands is slow to get up.
How many times have we seen that soft pass come back to haunt the Warriors? Coach Byers not happy, and rightfully so. You got to take care of the ball when you're down here with very few minutes to go, and the last thing you want to do is let Plainfield get points with the clock stopped.
And Lands hits a very big free throw right there to give Plainfield something here to cut back into this lead of Warren. Again, that snaps a 12-2 run over the last 2.5 minutes.
That's a costly mistake.
And Lands hits both free throws and a quick stoppage for substitutions here.
See what a soft pass costs Warren? 2
2
points.
points.
Absolutely. Just small little things sometimes, but these are young people, and sometimes those things happen, but you got to learn from your mistakes, and hopefully I didn't even really see who made the pass irrelevant. Don't do that again.
That was Madden Barrialt who was the guilty party on that turnover. Final 10 seconds. Barrialt had a big three earlier, can't get another one to go. Here's Kirby again, right to the rim, up and can't get the score to go. And that will bring us to the end of quarter number 3. It is a competitive one here inside of Memorial Gym. A 2-point lead for Warren going to the fourth. Here on ISC.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. Drive home a new Ram 1500 Bighorn for just $329 per month.
We're not number one.
You are.
You're number one at York.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. All 2023s must go. Save up to 15% off a new Jeep Gladiator Sport.
We're not number one.
You are.
You're number one at York.
There you see Chris Byers, the head coach of Warren Central, coaching up his Warriors, who outscore Plainfield 18-6 in that quarter in the third as we go to the fourth here on ISC Sports Network. Alongside Jan Bozier, I'm Kurt Darling. Continued coverage of the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament here inside Memorial Gym in Kokomo.
Listen, we've got 8 minutes, and hold on, folks. I think we're in for a phenomenal finish. Warren Central, and I've seen them a couple times, and every time I see them, they have this unique ability, and it's no secret during timeouts to find another gear during that timeout. And they come out and play like a complete different team, and they come scratching back, and get the lead, but still a whole fourth period to go. Kurt, take it away, buddy.
Warren Central on the game, shooting 42%. That is a consistency over each quarter. Jan, in the third quarter, Plainfield shot 23% from the field as opposed to 61% through that whole first half.
You know, isn't it amazing how when the defense kicks in, everything changes? A lot of that has to go for Warren Central pressure defense.
And so now Plainfield going to try and get the lead back here.
Plainfield had to work much, much harder to get a shot, and some of them weren't near as easy as the first half shots.
Eli Ellis was held in check that whole third quarter after hitting big three-pointers in the first half. He had 9 points.
Warren's been in this pressure man-to-man the whole game.
Here is Chris Arvantis. Ellis left wide open, and he makes them pay.
That's a no-no. It's a no-no defensively. You got to know where shooters are at, Kurt. You cannot let a shooter like that wide open.
Guess using the size down low. Still nothing there from Harlan, but Guess with the putback.
Wow. Good offensive rebound. How many's Guess got now?
Guess had 9 points in that third quarter. He has 12 overall. Gilead tried to get another one to go that time, but it hits the upright behind the goal, and it will be a turnover. So Javon Guess now on the night actually has 14 points, but 15 points for Zeke Kirby, who is bringing it up the floor now.
Nick Glover reports in for the Warriors.
Bringing back some size here for Warren. Guess using that size with Glover.
Really
contested,
good ball fake.
and
really
the and
good
one.
Ball fake. Basketball 101 again. Just ball fake. Got him up in the air and powers it in. Excellent contribute. Coming right off that bench for Nick Glover. Look at the ball fake. Got him up in the air. Yes, sir. Finish. Great ball fake.
It may not look that obvious, Babe, by watching this game and how dominant that Warren has been down low, but Jan, at the end of the third quarter, both teams had 16 points in the paint.
4-point lead for the Warriors.
Schmidt from deep. Off the mark, hard for the rebound. That time is Colton East, and they're going to say it was a jump ball between the two players, and the arrow favors the Warriors.
Well, neither coach is going to like this call, but it is what it is. Colton East, you can make a case for how he went up and hard for that rebound.
He's certainly elevated as Plainfield going to make things a little difficult now in the full court.
Well, Plainfield's got to find their next gear now.
And there's Schmidt picking up the foul in transition on Kirby. And that is now number 4 on Colin Schmidt. So that is a certainly not something you want to see there if you're head coach Andy Weaver.
No, he's a double-figure scorer. Let's see what happens. Sits down with 4 fouls, Kurt.
Plainfield led this game by as many as 10 in the second quarter.
Really good defense.
And there's a big turnover there forced by Plainfield.
Really great defense that time by Baker Lands.
And he'll set up the offense now here for the Quakers.
You got to play hard without fouling, and that's exactly what he did right there.
Harper Baker Lands, a freshman, averaging 8.5 points a game for this Quaker squad.
Nice
Ellis
pass.
inside, around the horn, and down low to Smith.
Boy, I'll tell you, Ellis sees the court. He's a shooter and a passer. Really good pass.
Back to a 2-point game. Glover leaves it for Walker.
Boy, that looked good after it left his hands. Just left it ever slightly short.
Baker Lands
Plainfield
steps
can
back.
make some noise.
3 on the way,
No.
off the back of the iron.
Good check out. You see that check out by Guess? You check out like that and you go up like that, not only are you getting a rebound, you're getting fouled. When he plays like this, when he plays big and strong, he's as good as anybody. He just is.
Noah Smith picking up his second, already 3 fouls in this quarter here for Plainfield. They have to be wary about that new foul rule. Guess back outside, Walker lets it fly.
Inside, outside.
Another 3. That is his 4th of the game.
Walker has played well from outside.
Gilead gets it poked away. Warren with the advantage. Walker leaves it up, can't get that one to go. Guess with the offensive rebound, blocked from behind by Smith, and they're going to get a foul on him.
Guess is absolutely in the middle of every rebound, offensively and defensively.
At the end of the third quarter, Jan Guess had 7 rebounds. He is awfully close to a double-double here tonight.
Well, still tons of times, but clearly right now he has been the difference maker and the consistency that Warren has looked for. Got it, got the roll.
He got the friendly Memorial Gymnasium roll, as they say.
You know what basketball coaches love, Kurt? They like a young man just goes play hard. You can put up with a few mistakes if somebody just goes play hard, and he clearly has done that very well since the second period.
He almost got it again that time, but it goes just out, and it is poked out of bounds by Plainfield.
Isn't it interesting when you play hard how sometimes the ball just kind of rolls your way? Hey?
Sometimes Lady Luck rewards you.
It does, and it should.
So Warren will have the ball off of the missed foul shot here, but still, Warren Central could come away with as many as 4 points here on this one swing.
Good shot time. Good shot selection time for Warren. Plainfield had to come out of that zone, now going man-to-man.
4.5 left to go here in the final period of this one.
Here comes trapping by Plainfield.
Kirby into the corner. Glover along the baseline.
Good ball rotation. Great ball rotation. Spacing and ball rotation ready to shoot. Plainfield needs and wants a timeout.
5 points by Nick Glover in this quarter. A full timeout going to be taken by Plainfield. We will step aside with them. It is a big advantage now for Warren here on the ISC Sports Network. Well, now for more than 30 years, the Indy Card Exchange has been your trusted source for buying and selling trading cards of all kinds. And they are refining the game of professional grading with consultation services to save you time and money. Go to theindycardexchange.com for more information and to see how you can make money off of your collection today.
Plainfield has to pick up the intensity. Right now, this game is being won, at least by right now, by the physical and the effort that Warren has given. Now, if you're behind, you as a ball club have to figure out how to match that, or you're not going to make a comeback. They have the scoring ability, but they got to match the physicality.
Plainfield has been outscored in their entirety in this second half so far. It was an 18-8 third quarter, and so far Warren Central has done nothing but build on their lead since then.
It's a big possession for Plainfield coming out of the timeout.
3 timeouts remaining for each ball club. Underneath, Smith off the glass, rebound contested. East comes away with it, can't get it to go, but he draws the foul.
Well, there's exactly the effort I was talking about. Colton East comes out and presents that physicality I'm just talking about. Look how hard he's playing. Doesn't get it to fall, but that's effort.
But now, Jan, that is number 4 on Javon Guess.
Got Plainfield's free throws on both teams. Obviously, you're behind, they're very important, but both teams down the stretch got to hit them.
So far today, Plainfield 60% at the line as Colton East goes 1 of 2.
Plainfield's an 83% free throw shooting team.
Barriall left alone in the corner, and
sir.
He makes them pay.
Yes, sir.
That is the second time he's done that from opposite ends of the floor.
Man, that is so good. Yeah, you're right, Kirk. Good call on your part. He went for the steal, and it cost him a defensive effort.
Smith along the baseline. East pokes it to Smith on the rebound.
Boy, that Plainfield needed that. And Coach Byers not happy because the checkout didn't happen. Just small little things.
Nonetheless, Warren keeping Plainfield at arm's length.
Smart decision there.
And a traveling violation there by Warren Central.
Coach Byers telling his team, no need to be in a hurry. 2 things, rebound and just be good with your possession.
Harper lands off the feed from Ellis. They're trying to get Eli Ellis open here for a big shot. He throws it up from the elbow. What a tough shot there.
Did you see how he pushed a little more because he was falling back? Adjustment midair.
So Eli Ellis now has a quiet 13 points, but back the other way, a big shot there for Warren.
Transition freebie. Good rebound, transition layup.
Robert Walker now with 15 points. Make it 16 points. Ellis with a hand in his face, rattles in and out. That would have been a huge shot for the Quakers. But how about that rebound from Colton East? Baker lands. Still nothing there. Another chance for the Quakers.
Wow, three-pointers a lot of times are long
Colton
rebounds.
East finally gets it to go.
Boy, Plainfield needed that. A lot of times they start to say those rebounds from three-pointers are really long.
2 minutes left to go in this ball game. Guess gets fouled by Ellis. No, they're going to say that Eli Ellis stepped on the baseline. No, it is a foul, so it's actually going to be on Eli Ellis, so that'll be his second. It looked like they may have been touching him out of bounds first there, but they're going to get the foul. Well, this is a 5-point game here, Jan, but quite honestly, it still feels like anybody's ball game.
Well, it still can't be. 5 points because Plainfield, as they have shown, can score in loads, and there's a ton of time for these two ball clubs with 2:05. Just a 5-point lead by the Warriors.
But now to mention it here, Jan, Plainfield has committed 5 fouls in this quarter.
Free throws are so huge right now.
So Warren Central going to be gifted some foul shots now, as Guess makes 1 of 2 here.
Boy, this game has absolutely flown by. Unbelievable. What a great game.
It's been a fun one to cap off the day.
Game. If you watch the game or are watching the game, you'll be able to see it again. Tell your friends, families, whatever. Got to watch this one on ISC, of course.
And Guess misses the second foul shot, but going up for the rebound there, looks like it's a foul on Warren. That'll be Nick Glover picking up 1. That'll be his third.
2:05, 6-point lead, 2-possession game. Kurt, anybody's game. Big possession, though, for the Quakers right here. Right here.
Time running out here for Plainfield.
I just don't think they want to come away empty-handed on this possession if they can help it. Don't want to reach here defensively. Don't reach.
Underneath, nicely done by Smith.
That was way too easy if you're Warren. Really good if you're Plainfield.
Nearly a steal by the Quakers on the inbound here. It's almost there, and now finally Warren is able to bust it out. And Kirby behind the back to J.J. Craig.
Showtime!
How about that?
Showtime! I love that kid. Love the way he plays. Look at the smile. I would smile too. Take a look.
Behind the back.
Yes, sir.
And the freshman taking advantage of that one.
My favorite play is the pass. I love a great pass. Oh, from another angle, of course. Only Jordan. Love it.
All the angles that you can get right here inside of Memorial Gym. So timeout here taken by Plainfield to talk things over here with 1:34 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Wow, what a game.
And there you see Zeke Kirby. He has been stellar today, scoring as well as passing.
He just plays with so much confidence. You know, you can see confidence in people's face. He wants the ball. He loves it in the open court. He can shoot the three, really fine passer. His game elevation from last year has been humongous. This team is getting better. I'm telling you, whether they win or lose it right now, this team will be reckoning with, I'm telling you right now, in Sectional 10, especially if they continue to grow.
Again, just listening to some of the teams that are within that sectional. That'll be at Lawrence North this year. Cathedral, North Central, Crispus Attucks, Lawrence Central, Arsenal Tech. There's a reason why they call that the toughest sectional in the state.
Well, it's certainly one of the ones. Now listen, Plainfield clearly has the shooters and the scores. They can't, they just can't go away with an empty possession.
Both teams going with the full court press whenever their opponent has the ball.
Oh, I like Noah Smith. Uh-oh.
Harper lands, nearly lost the ball in transition.
I don't think you want to dribble here if you don't have to.
Ellis from the wing, too strong that
that's
time.
A push,
and a foul coming up on Warren, and I believe that is going to be on Guess, and that is number 5 on him.
That's a huge foul, and that's a good call. He clearly pushed him.
So Javon Guess, who has been arguably the most productive player overall on both ends of the floor for Warren today, is now going to be on the bench for the remaining 76 seconds of this one.
He plays hard, but absolutely the right call. He did push. But that young man had by far the best game I've seen him have.
How about that play?
Beautiful. And now timeout Plainfield.
Ellis going up in the air, pushing the ball to Smith, who takes advantage, and it cuts it to 4.
Well, Noah Smith does smart here because he never brings the ball down, so that eliminates any chance to get a block. Really good play. Look at this pass.
The pass was too high, and he still made it.
That's kind of to save it, but Noah Smith does what only a few guys can do, is to catch it, shoot it without coming down. Wow, what a game.
So now if you're head coach Andy Weaver, what are you telling your team in this huddle?
Hey, we got a buck 13. It's still a 2-possession game. No panic necessary. Let's see how he coaches this, but everything has to be pristine. Mainly checkouts. Any shot, you got to play as physical as Warren's playing. You can't let them have a second chance if they miss something. Wow, what a game.
A minute 13 left in this one. Plainfield led by as many as 10. Warren has led by as many as 9.
Clearly, Plainfield wants to go for a steal here. Full court pressure. Get somebody to the middle. Don't panic. Warren breaks the press. Now here comes the trap.
Walker gets it over to Kirby. Kirby back to Walker. Long passes. Walker into the lane, and he draws a foul as Plainfield had no other choice at that point to stop the clock.
Yep, had the foul there. Really had very little chance. What you can't do is end up with no time. You end up with no time, you got no chance.
So now they hope that Walker can somehow miss a couple free throws here, as this is his first trip to the line today.
You know, there's still tons of time here, but you can help your cause here by hitting free throws.
And Walker does just that.
Still 2 possession. Warren Central could really help their cause, Kurt, if you hit free throws.
This would certainly be a big result for Warren Central given their sluggish start this season. They started the season 3 straight losses, then went on to back-to-back wins before their loss to Mount Vernon earlier today.
Boy, he's been cool as a cucumber all game, hasn't he? They're going to go offense-defense right now. That's what they're trying to do, bringing in a little more size and Smith for rebounding and defensive purposes, Kurt.
Plainfield feeling the pressure now as Ellis goes behind the back, leaves it for Schmidt.
You don't want to foul if you're Warren.
Schmidt puts it up. No roll there that time.
Good defense by Warren. There's your foul.
Empty possession for Plainfield, and that was certainly one you needed a basket on if you're the Quakers.
You can't argue the shot. He got a decent shot, just didn't fall.
And Warren again just tasked with making free throws at this point.
Wow, down the stretch, Plainfield just had some misfortune on some really good shots. You can't argue the shots at all.
Definitely a resilient game here for the Warriors today. Glover now 2 for 2 at the line.
Boy, Plainfield came out and played so incredibly well against Mount Vernon. First half was super good here today, and
just remember, Plainfield had the lead in the game against Mount Vernon today and squandered that lead. Pretty much some deja vu here for Plainfield in this one.
Big rebound. Great rebound again by Glover.
And Kirby now going to play some keep away.
Yep.
So see Kirby, we've said it time and again here today, he has just been a huge factor in this one.
Well, listen, you never want to lose. And I guarantee you Andy Weaver's not going to be happy about losing, but boy, he's played well, just didn't finish. And against 2 really good ball clubs in Mount Vernon and Warren. I'm whispering because I feel like I'm the loudest guy in the gym right now, and I probably am.
There's no mistaking your voice from afar.
Well, that's true. I have a mere 1,000 people keep looking at me every time they're quiet and I'm talking.
And so now Plainfield going to make a full line change here with 20 seconds left. The Quakers probably recognizing the situation as it is.
You feel for them because, man, they just played so hard today. And listen, they're going to learn from this. This is why this tournament is so good. Even in a loss, you never want to lose. And they'll get better because of who they played here today. They just will. Plainfield's got a lot to say before this year's over with.
Zeke Kirby now finishes with 17 points on the day. So Barton goes uncontested to the line as Warren just content to get the ball back here and let the final seconds of this one run out. So Warren Central comes back from a 10-point deficit and will move on in the consolation ladder here at the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament. Final score in this one, 74-67. Jan, what a ball game.
Well, I'll tell you, that was fun. It's really fun if you win. Not so much fun if you lose, but just from an overall perspective of a good ball game. Man, we had shooting, we had passing, we had it all. Both teams played so hard, so well coached. And in these situations, always we got to be somebody who wins, somebody who loses. Plainfield, unfortunately, falls a little short. Warren played as good as I've seen them. And if they continue to get better and under Coach Byers, there's a good chance that may happen.
Before we sign off today, just want to recap what you can expect for tomorrow here at the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament here in Kokomo. In the championship ladder, it will be Kokomo taking on South Bend Riley to kick things off at 11 o'clock. And then after that, Mount Vernon will face off with Jeffersonville. Things get going at 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow right here at Memorial Gymnasium. In the consolation ladder, Mishawaka will now be taking on Warren Central. New Haven will be going up against Plainfield in the 7th place game here in this tournament. Jan Bozier, a pleasure working with you tonight, my friend.
As always, my man, great job.
Final score again here in this one, 74-67. Warren beats Plainfield. For Jan Bozier, I'm Kurt Darling, saying so long till next time here on the ISC Sports Network.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. Drive home a new Ram 1500 Bighorn for just $329 per month.
We're not number one.
You are.
You're number one at York.
It's the Wrap Up the Year sales event at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. All 2023s must go. Save up to 15% off a new Jeep Gladiator Sport.
We're not number one.
You are.